Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 16th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery, and you can see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, nice and clear of clouds for the most part today. It's a big ridge. It's going to be dominating our weather here for the next few days, and then we'll take a look at the extended forecast because we are eventually going to break that ridge down and start to bring some troughing back into the area, and maybe even some stronger storms through the extended forecast. Taking a look here at the record highs, look at this. Quileute just absolutely demolished their record high set back in 1988 by 11 degrees. Quite an amazing shot there. Look at Hoquiam, record high. Bellingham tied the record high of 61. And we have the chance to break some of these daily high temperatures here for some other areas as well over the next couple of days. With Olympia also 64, beating their previous record back in 1962. Now here we are for Eastern Washington, and this is for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Just a reminder here that we are going to be warming up quite nicely across the region. Check out Moses Lake getting up towards 71 degrees, and we have a sneaker wave threat on the coastline as well. I want to remind everybody of that. I would just consider this up the Washington coast as well. Right now, Portland has it out for mostly the Oregon coast into southwest Washington, but just keep that in the back of your mind. A lot of people going to be out at the coastlines here over the next couple of days, and Medford National Weather Service also calling attention to that as well, all the way on into Saturday evening. Now, looking at the European, this is last night's run. You can clearly see why the infrared satellite imagery looked like it did as the flow moves well up north into Alaska and down the backside across some of the Great Lake areas here. And then you can see the ridge just dominating our weather here as we go on in through the weekend. And then early next week, it hangs on for Monday, maybe another warm day on Tuesday. But you can kind of see the trough developing here on last night's European model run as we start to get a bit of Arctic air trying to move down. It's going to interact and bring this troughing here into the Pacific Northwest. And you can see it spinning through our extended forecast here, and then we have some additional systems here that are showing up in some of the runs as well. But we're going to try to hold off, but trying to get into the details because the models have been flipping and flopping back and forth and the strength of some of these systems here as well. But clearly the ridge is going to end as we go through midweek here. Pretty good model agreement on that. And you can see this ridge driving this north flow back down across Pacific Northwest. Here's the GFS. This is the ensemble mean, the average of all 30 ensemble members on the GFS. So you can see the ridge kind of dominating our weather again here as we go through the weekend, but then something similar now coming into some agreement with the European on the troughing starting as we go on in through Wednesday. And then on into the later portion of next week and kind of see the troughing hanging out here as we go towards next weekend. So yeah, you're gonna think back at this weekend here and look fondly at it here, most likely as we start to bring some unsettled weather back into the region. Now, if we look at 850 millibars, this is the European as of last night, offshore flow. That's why we're going to warm up so much today and tomorrow. And we keep that warm air aloft around for a bit. But then we start that troughing here, probably one more pretty warm day on Tuesday before we start this onshore flow as we go through the day. Wednesday, you can see some Arctic air trying to spill back out over the Pacific Ocean here and going to develop some systems off the coastline there as well. You can see the cyclonic spin in the atmosphere here as we definitely start to cool down as we go through next week. Now, take a look at 80-meter wind speed on the GFS. It's showing something similar now as well, and probably a Tuesday, one more warm day, and I want to show you the onshore flow return. So here we go on into the day Tuesday, and you can see that onshore flow start to kick up as we go through the afternoon hours there. That's kind of what's known as the marine push, and onshore flow will be arriving, and then we're going to bring that troughing off the coastline here, keep things onshore and much more unsettled weather as we go through the end of next week. But in the meantime, of course, we got some very warm days upcoming here. Check out the national blended models as of this morning. Look at Seattle up towards 70 degrees, another 70 plus degree day for some of Portland there, Willamette Valley, coastal areas getting nice and warm as well. Bellingham may be setting a record high today. And then we go through tomorrow, again, similarly warm here across much of the region. Look at some of these temperatures getting in the low 70 maybe for Eastern Washington. And here we go for Monday, another pretty warm day across the region. Tuesday up into the 60s as well, but then we get to Wednesday and you see the big change coming here as we start to bring that troughing and the onshore flow does return. Probably another warm day though east of the mountains, and then by the time we go towards Thursday, you see the cool down occurring there, and then we kind of go back down a little bit below normal here as we go on in towards next weekend with, again, some unsettled weather. Looking at Seattle, so we have to look forward to 72 today is the record high, 71 tomorrow. We have an outside chance of getting that for SeaTac here. And those records were way back in 1947. What is that? It's over 70 years, like 77 years or something like that. Crazy. But we could break one of those daily record highs this weekend here if things line up just right. And you can see again the record high for Quileute, again destroyed by 11 degrees there yesterday. Pretty interesting stuff. And you can see SeaTac Airport 62 yesterday. Boeing Field hit 60. If we go down the list, Vancouver, Washington at 71. Quileute again at 73, the hot spot there for western Washington. And you can see some of eastern Washington's temperatures here as well. Richland getting 67, Pasco 67 as well. Pullman at 56. If we look at total cloud cover, I want to just kind of show you this here. You can kind of see that marine layer kind of up the coastline here as we go through tonight. And then we bring some of this fog activity. There was a little bit around some of western Washington this morning, but we could be bringing that in across western Oregon, Washington as we go through tomorrow morning. Then it burns off. And here we go on to Monday morning again. Perhaps a return of some of that fog for some areas, burns off during the afternoons. And you can see this is mainly for the west of the Cascades here. And then again, maybe Tuesday morning before we start to switch things up and bring that troughing in here. Now, looking at Seattle-Tacoma, the National Weather Model is calling right around 70 degrees here, but it could vary by a few degrees. And you can see the warm days continuing probably through Tuesday before we go back down to some average or slightly below average conditions with that troughing. And you can clearly see the heights at 500 millibars here start to drop off as we go on in towards Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe here for Quileute. And you can see the very warm air aloft that is in place right now will be dying off here as well. Now, looking at Spokane, nice warm days coming up probably through Wednesday. Again, one more warm day than what we're going to get west of the Cascades, and then we drop back down probably below normal a bit as we go towards the weekend. Here's Astoria, very warm day today, probably up towards 70 degrees, maybe even lower 70s for some areas on the coastline, maybe across in northwest Oregon there, and pretty warm across the Washington coastline as well. So, heads up for that. You be careful with those waves out there. The sneaker waves can still get you, and then we drop those temperatures back down here as we start through tomorrow, and then we really drop them back down with the return of the troughing. Here's Quileute, maybe another 70-degree day today, and then you can see the temperature trend there. Portland, look at this, all the way on through Tuesday, possibly pushing 70 plus degrees out there, like a little taste of summer here across some of the Pacific Northwest. Now, looking through the extended forecast, as we scroll through, this is this afternoon. Here we go through Sunday afternoon. You can clearly see that ridge of high pressure is going to be keeping the precipitation away all the way through Tuesday here. It's Tuesday afternoon. Then we go through Wednesday, and you can see where that troughing is going to be returning here. And you can kind of see that gradient setting up, some of that cooler air trying to move down the troughing, setting up shop here. How strong will this system be? How much precipitation will it bring? Will it bring winds with it? How much are we going to cool down? All good questions. We're not going to dive into those details just yet here. We're still waiting for some model agreement. The airplane is kind of shifting back and forth on the strength of that system there. But you can kind of see we continue the showery weather all the way on in towards next weekend, and then maybe even a stronger storm, way off in towards next week. But purely fantasy at this point. We'll continue to monitor that and break it down day by day. Here's the snowpack. We're just starting to eat away at it a little bit here in the next couple of days. Next 2, 3, 4 days aren't going to be kind to the snowpack here also. But again, we have that troughing returning. So what we lose, we have a chance to build back here. And we'll be looking at graphics like this, Pacific Northwest 7-day significant fire potential here. Nothing to worry about as of right now, of course, at this time of year, usually the case. And there are some fire prohibitions out there. You can see it's the drought-stricken British Columbia here, pretty darn right dry. And after that season they just went through last year, they've got an abundance of caution. So we will, just kind of keep that in mind. And we kind of dodged the bullet there with all that fire, all the fire activity burning across British Columbia. It really didn't get down into the Pacific Northwest too much, but a lot of times it can get back down into our region here when we get the north and northeast winds bringing that smoke back down. So let's hope they don't have a similar fire season this year. But anyway, taking a look here, you can see the ridge over top of us. Enjoy this nice weather here as we go through Monday and then on into Tuesday. Maybe some morning fog out there, but then we start to get the storm track pointed back out the Pacific Northwest. And again, we'll start to break that down a little bit better detail as we go through tomorrow, probably starting to look at that a little bit better because the European kind of flipping and flopping back and forth on the strength of those next systems. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.